Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grid Live Wrap Up, first Sunday show of 2022. And we invite everyone viewing, participate in the chat room, leave a comment. We'll love to hear your questions, answer them on the air, share your opinions. With me today, we have Adam Lemeries out of North Carolina. I'm Joe San Diego out of Portland, Oregon. And a big special hello to our Patreon subscribers, Colin, Michelle, Mark, and Robin for keeping us on the air right here on the Grid Network. If you want to keep us on the air, link in the video description for our Patreon page. And of course, there's also the option to use the Buy Me a Coffee, a one-time contribution. You can even buy a cup of coffee for myself, Adam, or any of your Grid Network on-air talents that you want to show your appreciation for. Adam, we got to talk about this World Rally Championship race. Yesterday, me, you, along with Matt from Grid History at Grid_History on Twitter, we were all discussing about it looked like it was going to be Sebastien Ogier taking the win. He had a 21-second lead. The weather was clear. It didn't look like Loeb will catch up unless something happened to Ogier. And that happened in stage 16, a rerun of the 14th stage, which was run earlier today. Puncture tire. That allowed Loeb to catch up to a 9.5-second lead, and then by that final stage, the power stage, 10-second lead. Sebastien Loeb is now an 8-time winner of Rally Monte Carlo, and ironically, it's the same day as he won the Rally Monte Carlo in 2005. Definitely, of course, grid history coming with that stat. Just amazing considering where we were yesterday and now today. How surprising was it for OJ to get a flat on this stage, especially since we just ran the stage earlier in the day?
Oh, to me, it was surprising. And last year, if you watched, we had Shane Van Gisbergen from the Repco Supercar Series going for the Grid Ranking World Championship. Well, what happened at the end of the Bathurst 1000? He suffered a punctured tire and lost to Sebastien Ogier. I mean, I truly thought OJ was going to win. And I give a special shout out to our colleague, Kobe Lambeth, for getting Sebastien Loeb right for pick a winner. And now, and for those of you who don't know, I had Sebastien Ogier, and our colleague Joe had Thierry Neuville. So congratulations, Kobe. You're one up on everybody. But I'm still shocked that OJ had a punctured tire and lost his 21-second lead. I can't, I can't believe it, but that's motorsports. And even though OJ is not running all the races this year, you got to give credit to Sebastien Loeb, now an 8-time winner of the Rally Monte Carlo. That's a really, really historical stat.
Yeah, very historical stat. And just like I said, the shock of seeing OJ getting our puncture, considering we had done this stage earlier in the day. So, for those not familiar with rally racing, when you run two stages like they did today, where you had the 14th and the 16th stage on the same track, same streets, you get an idea on the second time where to mostly improve. And for a punctured tire to occur, especially for Ogier, it just seems so rare because, there was drivers before him, drivers after him, multiple people driving on those same racing lines. And for that puncture to happen, just ultimately, it is part of motorsports. It's just such bad luck, the timing of it to happen. And one of the big things, of course, as you mentioned, Adam, now the Sebastien Loeb is an 8-time winner for the Rally Monte Carlo, but we understand it was also historic, especially for his co-driver.
Yeah, his co-driver was Isabella Gamin, and Isabella became the first woman to win a to win to win the Rally Monte Carlo as a co-driver since 1997, when 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 a lady named Fabrizia Pons did it. So that's pretty cool. And and I believe Sebastien Loeb competed in the Dakar Rally and had a top 10 finish. So you have a top 10 finish at the historic route at that historic rally, and now you come here to Rally Monte Carlo and win. That's an impressive start for Sebastien Loeb already here in 2022.
Very impressive start in 2022, and very impressive for Isabella to go team up with Sebastien Loeb, be on the top of the podium at Monte Carlo. Just amazing. Just what a historic day for Loeb, who now becomes the oldest driver to win the Rally Monte Carlo. And they did it with the Ford brand. Ford taking 2 spots in that podium. Craig Breen, 3rd place, and Gus Greensmith, 5th place. Adam, considering Ford has 3 out of the top 5 finishing positions, and compared to where they were last year, where it was all Toyota, all Hyundais, we know Florme, he could have been up there, but he crashed out. How would Ford grade their weekend at Rally Monte Carlo?
I give him an A. You mentioned Joe. You had Loeb winning in the Ford M Sport. And Craig Breen finishing 3rd and Gus Greensmith finishing 5th. That's impressive. You can say you beat Toyota and Hyundai, 2 manufacturers that have completely dominated WRC in the last few years. I'd give Ford a good shot to win the manufacturer championship, and don't count out Craig Breen and Gus Greensmith for overall victories this year since both Sebastians are not running the full 2022 World Rally Championship season.
Yeah, without the 2 Sebastians running the full championship, I have to say A as well. Would it be an A plus? Not sure. I mean, of course, had there not been that big crash, Florme, where would he be in the championship standings? Probably much higher up. When it comes to the power stage, as we're going to discuss a little bit about, you only had one Ford there, and that was Loeb. It is something where I think Ford definitely they have to feel proud of what they done this weekend, coming out fighting. Essentially, we knew there was going to be new regulations, the new car, a lot of questions. They got to win. They got 3 out of the top 5, and with only the top 10 positions paying points, that is very significant considering, especially you look at Hyundai, Autonic, no points. He didn't finish. Um, Solberg in Hyundai didn't finish, no points. So big weekend for Ford. Tough that one of their teams did not score points. But while Ford may have taken that constructors lead and they lead Toyota by 3 points right now, Toyota, Ogier, he looked destined to win that race until the punctured tires. Kali Rofenpera took the power stage win and is ahead of Craig Breen by 2 points. So Toyota took first, second, and fifth in that power stage. Neuville in the Hyundai third and Loeb fourth. Despite not getting the win for Toyota, are they still the team to beat and the team that Ford? They need to be perfect every weekend to try to beat them.
Oh, absolutely. And one driver you did not mention, Joe, who drives for Toyota is Elvin Evans from Great Britain. He's always been strong since making his debut in the WRC a couple years ago. Kali Rofenpera, he is going to be a contender for the WRC championship this year. Easily. He's been up there the last couple of years. And you mentioned Joe Ottonic, another driver that I'm surprised didn't score any points as well. But to me, Kali Rofenpera is going to be a contender for the World Rally Championship this year. And I would not count out Elvin Evans from Toyota as well. Don't be surprised if you see Elvin Evans on the top step of the podium at least a couple times this year.
And then right there, of course, there are the point stands, and we encourage everyone in the chat room. Do you see Rovanpera or Evans being the big championship contenders, or somebody else? We love to hear from you. Share it on the air. Definitely, when it comes to this point standing and this points battle, Rovanpera, Breen, this looks like it could be a very fun championship battle if they go all season long, toe to toe. But definitely, Evans just was not a great race for him at all this weekend. And especially considering he was second place going toe to toe with Ogier at the end of Rally Monza for that championship, and it just seemed like didn't show up. A really tough break for Hyundai, which just had a tough weekend overall. With, as you mentioned, Tonic not scoring points, he crashed on stage 12, and then afterwards he was just unable to get the repairs made. Newville suspension issues that put him behind all day yesterday, Saturday, out of contention for the win. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we saw Solberg fumes coming into the vehicle caused him to go off yesterday. And then today, after that 14th stage, didn't complete the rest. Just something Hyundai not at all there. Should Hyundai be concerned about your performance? Or was this just something we've seen in other sports where your first race back, it doesn't go that great, but you rebound shortly? Do you think it was just a case of the season opening jitters, or could this be an indication like Hyundai might be the third best?
I think it was just season opening jitters. You could never, ever count out Thierry Neuville and Octonic for victories. They've been strong the last couple of years in WRC. And Oliver Solberg, last name Solberg, if you remember, Oliver's brother was Peter Solberg. We all know what a impressive career he had in the WRC. So I think it was just season opening jitters. And Hyundai, those three drivers, I wouldn't count them out either. I believe this year's WRC championship is going to be a really close battle between all three manufacturers, Hyundai, Toyota, and Ford. And be sure to, and I gotta say, Octonic, don't count him out as a winner of the overall world championship in World Rally. He wants it really bad. He wants to go out on. He wants to win this just as just as badly as any other driver since he's had to battle. And we have a colleague from our, and we have a comment from our colleague Ben Schneider says Loeb and Ogier are both legends. Happy to see them. Happy to see them both still fighting for victories. Amen. Amen to that comment, Ben. And at their age, hey, they love to go world rallying. I know they're running a limited number of races this year, but when they compete, watch out.
Yeah, if this was any indication, if they're both there, they're going to be the favorites to win the races that they're competing in because they were just in a league of their own, way ahead of the competition. However, when it comes to the points, as they miss the races, they won't be up on those tops. So really, we're watching the third and fourth place, fifth place. I mean, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. They are really close right now for that points championship battle. And of course, when you factor in the power stage points, that is why Rothenperre got around Breen. So it's going to be very interesting to see all year long. It's not just going to come down to your top 10 finishing position. The power stage, that last stage, you need to be putting down the fastest lap. For fans not exactly familiar with it, just think of how Formula One has that bonus point for the fastest lap in the power stage. If you put down the fastest time, you get 5 bonus points. Second fastest gets 4, down to 3, 2, and 1 point for the fifth fastest time, fifth place. So, World Rally Championship, I think this championship Going to go down to the last race again, which it has the last 2 years. And 2 years ago, it did switch hands where OJ did get the lead. Last year, OJ maintained the lead. This year, it could be between two teams: Toyota, Ford, M Sport, Hyundai. As you mentioned, Adam, don't count out Alternate yet. I mean, he just had rough luck in Rally Monte Carlo. I mean, 2 years ago, he had that huge off where he just went sailing off the road, down the cliff. I mean, it's still very early on. Their next race is going to be in Sweden in February. And of course, that means snow. Where today was tarmac, yesterday was tarmac. There was one section, though, stage 12, where there was snow up there, and that caused mayhem for a lot of folks. So, that one, nobody was really anticipating it. Everyone was still on soft tires like OJ, Loeb. That's not going to be the case in Sweden. Everybody knows there's going to be snow there. And you essentially, I think this is setting up for being a classic race because only 2 points separating essentially third place and fourth place Newville Breen. You got Calder Pera, who is ahead of Breen right now, and Gus Greensmith, he is just 1 point behind Newville. So they are all really close because those are going to be the four drivers that are going to be competing all year long. When it comes to the Rally Sweden, do you have any favorites entering that race weekend, or has this race weekend shown this is going to be one of the most competitive World Rally Championship seasons ever?
I believe this will go down as one of the greatest World Rally Championship seasons ever. And going to Rally Sweden, I'll give you a couple of contenders who I think will do really good. Ott Tonic, he wants to rebound after struggling here at Rally Monte Carlo. Elvin Evans, he's ninth in points. He wants, he's always gonna be a contender, and he wants to be in the top 5 all season long. Craig Breen and Gus Greensmith driving for Ford M Sport after their solid debuts, finishing 3rd and 5th. I wouldn't count them out as well either. And one driver I'll say is a wild card. Don't count out Thierry Neuville, also driving a Hyundai. To me, if you don't follow the World Rally Championship, I suggest you should, because this year we saw a crazy F1 season last year. This year, I think it easily could happen in the World Rally Championship.
And the big thing with World Rally Championship too that can make it even more crazy, we got brand new hybrid cars. These are brand new cars. First year for all the teams. So it's going to be really interesting. Can Ford keep this up? Matt yesterday said that Ford seems to be really good when it comes to rolling with new regulations and coming out swinging. They certainly did this weekend. What's going to happen once we get to Sweden? Will the other teams catch up? Definitely comment if you're watching in the chat room. We'll love to share your opinions and questions of World Rally Championship as we approach Rally Sweden, which is going to be in February. So a lot of time for the teams to diagnose everything that had happened and where to improve. And one driver, I'm thinking could be a bit of maybe not a contender, but a driver to watch. Oliver Solberg from Norway, definitely has a racing background. We're in the snow. Adam, when it comes to Oliver Solberg, I know he did not have that great of a race weekend for his first race weekend in World Rally Championship in the Hyundai team. Do you think this next one in the snow in Sweden could sort of be a rebound and we could really start to gauge where he falls with everybody?
Yep, I do believe. He's from Norway, Scandinavia. He has an advantage since he's used to snow. I would count out Oliver Solberg. I believe he will get a few stage wins. I believe he will be a contender for the overall win in Rally Sweden. Like I mentioned, he has a brother who has competed in the World Rally Championship before, Peter Solberg. That last name has a lot of history. Oliver Solberg is a driver I would count out for the overall win in Rally Sweden next month.
Rally Sweden is going to be a lot of fun. We encourage everyone in the chat room. Share your predictions. Who do you think is a favorite for Rally Sweden? Who do you think might be under the biggest trouble? We'll love to share your comments and questions right here on the air. I know we're coming down towards the end of our program, Adam, but a couple drivers we still got to talk about. Elfyn Evans, this race weekend was just not his race weekend. You talk about how you think he still will be a contender throughout the entire season. When it comes to Rally Sweden, what should be some of his goals? So he really just put the pressure on himself to go out there and get the win, or just try to go out there, get podiums, stage wins, just build up. What would you think will be the ideal strategy for Elfyn Evans?
Uh, to me, I believe Elfyn Evans has to go out there and get stage wins, especially when especially in the power stage. It's you get 5 points for first. On down to 1 point for fifth. Those power stage points could, you know, it could help, and it could help what determines this year's World Rally Championship overall winner. Elfyn Evans needs to go. I know it's just the first rally of the season, but Elfyn Evans comes from Great Britain, and there's a lot of rallying history in Great Britain, namely Richard Burns and Colin McRae from Scotland. They had history in the WRC, overall wins, overall championships. So Elfyn Evans comes from a place where the World Rally he comes from a place where there's a lot of history, from rallying in general.
A lot of rallying history. One of the big things I think with Evans, as you mentioned, go out there, get the stage points, wins. The power stage is going to be huge. If he could just start rebuilding up, because it is a long season, and just like what we talked about, if you could be picture perfect for the entire season, you have a good shot. Because OJ last year, he didn't have the most wins exactly, but he was consistent each and every week, where other drivers were making mistakes and not finishing races. Evans last year, he had a perfect 100% top 10 finish rate. This year, as you can see, he was not in the top 10. So his streak of finishing in the top 10 all 2021 comes to an end at 2022, since he did not get a top 10 finish. That's going to be huge when we start talking about the grid ranking in April, where he didn't have that many wins, but of course, his 100% top 10 finish rating put him way up there. So it's going to be really interesting to see if he could rebound, get in the top 10. And of course, we encourage everyone subscribe right here on the Grid Network. April 3rd, the first Sunday of April, the Grid rank is going to come up. Sebastien Ogier is the 2021 Grid Ranking World Champion, but he is not competing full time, so very likely we're going to have a brand new Grid Ranking World Champion. Three other racers that have won it are back, but it's still going to be very close between the H Series, since the W Series is now in it. Now, one driver, it was my pick a winner driver, Thierry Neuville. It just seemed like he was just there, but not exactly contending for the wins, not putting in the performance we anticipate. The power station, that's great. He got some points out of there, but if we're talking about grading your race weekend for Terry Neuville, do you feel like this was a big missed opportunity, especially since he won this race in 2020?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Thierry Neuville, I'm surprised he didn't do really well. You know, when it comes to the World Rally Championship, name, you think of names like Ogier, Neuville, and Rovanpera. Ogier and Rovanpera did really good. Neuville, he didn't have these. He didn't have this. He didn't have the start that he wanted. But the season's still young. It's the first rally of the season. We still got a long, long way to go till we reach the end. And Thierry Neuville, he will be a contender for this championship. Don't count him out. Um, he's always up there battling, so don't. It's going to be interesting to see how Thierry Neuville rebounds when we get to Rally Sweden next month.
Rally Sweden, I think it's going to be a great opportunity for Thierry Neuville to put down a solid run, keep his name up there towards the front, try to get points, and just contend. Because especially if there's a misstep from Craig Breen or Kalle Rovanperä, which Kalle Rovanperä, I feel he's going to do really good being from Finland. The snow, I think he's got to be one of the early favorites. But still, if he could be up there in the top three, top four all race long, that has to feel like a great rebound after what may have feel like a disastrous Rally Monte Carlo. But definitely when it comes for the fans, I think Rally Monte Carlo, this race really delivered all 3 days. It's great that we got racing back, and of course, we're going to have a really busy next weekend. You're going to be on the air with Kobe for Grid Life pre-race as we're going to preview the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona and Formula E season opening race weekend at Saudi Arabia. And we encourage everyone to follow the Grid Network, subscribe so you don't miss any programs, including Adam and Kobe. Wednesday night, Grid Tonight, where they report on the latest news. The following day on Thursday, myself and Daniel from Racer to Girls Behind the Helmet will be talking about all the female racers in motorsports. Then Grid Life all weekend long with Saturday pre-race and Sunday the wrap-up show. I think it's going to be a very exciting weekend. We're very excited for our Patreon subscribers for keeping us on the air. Link in the video description where you could select the $5 to $20 plan to invest in the Grid Network, where we're going to continue expanding our coverage, including on the track coverage and more programming throughout the year. And you have the option of Buy Me a Coffee, where you could do a one-time contribution. If you don't want to do the subscription, Buy Me a Coffee allows you to do a one-time subscription and even the option of just buying a drink for myself, Adam, or any of your favorite on-air talents right here in the Grid Network. And be sure to follow us. We're on TikTok, where we post Pick a Winner each and every week. Our social media platform games, we're all over the place. Be sure to follow us on social media. And public.com, if you put in GRIDnet, the referral code, you get $5 to invest in stock. Great deal. Big thank you to Public, one of our sponsors. And we encourage everyone again, be sure to participate and pick a winner. Kobe Lambeth is on the board. It's still very early because next week we have 3 races, 3 opportunities for anyone to catch up to Kobe, try to get on the pick a winner board all season long, because we will have monthly challenges in January, February, every month. Don't miss out. Adam, I think this was overall a good race weekend. How would you rank World Rally Championship Rally Monte Carlo?
I'd give it an A. It was really cool to see the two Sebastians going back and forth. And don't and also on Grid Tonight on Wednesday, Kobe and I will be joined by Ed Hunter as we preview the upcoming 2022 Formula E season. Some new drivers like Oliver Askew from IndyCar over at Andretti Autosport. New tracks like Vancouver and British Columbia. We'll see what happens all season long. And also, don't forget about the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona. Oh, a maximum capacity grid with over 60 cars, largest since 2014. If you haven't seen the entry list, I suggest you do, since it is going to be it's just awesome. Drivers from all forms of motorsports are competing: NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One, and it's going to. And also, 2 weeks from today is the Busch Light Clash at the LA Coliseum, and 4 weeks from today, yeah, the Daytona 500, our first opportunity with NASCAR with this new next-gen car. Could we see Kyle Larson go back-to-back? And will Joe, our colleague, pick Kyle Larson to win the Busch Light Class, the Ayala Coliseum, and the Daytona 500? Well, you're just going to have to subscribe to us here at Grid Network here on YouTube all season long to see if he continues with the driver of the number 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports. What a good way to start off 2022, Joe. I think it's time to wrap it all up.
Time to wrap it all up. Definitely it's going to be a lot of fun. We thank everyone for tuning in. For Adam Lemeries at the Grid Network right here, and myself, Joe Samriego. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this weekend's races, and we'll see you next time.
Don't be an anonymous investor. Join the stock market social media platform, public.com. Invest any amount of money and share with friends and new friends. Discover new opportunities, such as new companies and potential business partners, and useful tools for beginners, and share your experience with friends on public.com. Link in the video description gets you $5 for being a Grid Network viewer. Use the referral code GRIDnet for your free $5 to invest and start investing and networking on public.com.